Mad Men is one of the best TV shows ever made. A bold claim, bold and at the same time an undeniable fact. Mad Men was born during the second golden age of TV and had a quiet but strong influence on pop culture. Mad Men is about a group of ad men from a well-known advertising agency from Madison Avenue in 1960s New York. The protagonist, Don Draper, is senior art director and the creative genius of the agency. He turns most ideas that his creative team throws at him into solid gold.
Advertising is based on one thing: happiness.
He's a man that knows exactly how to sell ideas and what the consumer wants. A lot of men view Don Draper as their personal role model. He's attractive, successful, well-dressed, and oozes charisma and confidence.
You're born alone and you die alone, and this world just drops a bunch of rules on top of you to make you forget those facts, but I never forget it.
He sleeps with a large number of women throughout the 7 seasons, a womanizer on the level of Hank Moody from Californication. Qualities most men dream about, but not everything is as seamlessly and perfect as it seems for Don Draper. Mad Men has a large number of important side characters that strongly influence the show. Together with the era the show takes place in, they managed to create a picture of nostalgia that few other modern shows manage to do. There's not a single episode without someone smoking or drinking. Almost every employee of the agency is a chain smoker and takes his breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a heavy dose of alcohol. Don Draper himself smokes Lucky Strike cigarettes and has a habit of mixing himself an old-fashioned. Of course, he does all of that while being at work, just like a true professional would do.
We drink because it's good, because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar, because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
His own office has a special table full of whiskey and bourbon bottles. All of this might seem like pure stylization, but it's rooted in fact. Images like these were not uncommon to see in ad agencies of the 60s and 70s. Mad Men itself is a wordplay that came to life during that time because art directors and copywriters had a reputation of being wild and crazy. Ad man means advertising man, and the Mad was a self-given title representing the insanity going on. The constant consumption of alcohol and tobacco creates a feeling of suffocation from the smoke. A feeling that was created on purpose by the show's creator, Matthew Weiner. It mirrors the situation that Don Draper is in. He is suffocating on constant depression. One should think that a man that knows how to sell happiness should have no problems in leading a stable private life. But the opposite is the case. At the end of the first episode, we find out that Don Draper is married with 3 kids. We find that out after Don slept with another woman and started a very close and intimate relationship with a female client. All of this happens within the span of 2 days. He's not a bad person or evil, but he also lacks any sort of morals or personal codex. His depression is mild at first and not quite understandable or even relatable from the viewer's perspective. After all, we are seeing a man that seems to have it all: handsome looks, great style, great charisma, massive talent and success at his job, a constant supply of women, a family that loves him, a big house and expensive car. As the show goes on, we find out more about Don's past, together with a feeling of shock and surprise. Mad Men might take place in the 60s, but there's never a feeling of the show being too old-fashioned or outdated when it comes to the ideas and relationships it portrays. The protagonists don't feel like made-up characters on a show. They talk, think, and behave like real people would, something that should be a given in good fiction but is often overlooked or ignored. Viewers will never have the feeling of not understanding or being able to relate to a character. No matter whether they are female or male, they all get enough screen time to be fully developed, and none of them ever feel like their potential was wasted. Don Draper's problems are real and relatable. Domestic quarrels, depression, alcoholism, and the search for luck and happiness are things which most people experience at some point in their life. Something that shows like Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead can't claim.